Hello YouTube and welcome back to Allie's Wonderland Creations. I am Alice Seraphin and I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the United States. Well, I showed you during my paper pumpkin review, I believe it was, this cute little card that I created. I think it's great for an I miss you because it's so pretty, or an anniversary card using the very, very retired springtime foils. But that is not a problem for 3 of you out there, because if you want to create this card in this fold, I have for you 3. There's 4 pieces of very thick designer cardstock here from Stampin' Up! That I had in my giveaway bin. So I thought, let me do a project with it and give some of these away for free. So I'm going to tell you at the end of the video how you will be eligible to receive one of these 3 packages. Now we're going to make 2 cards in this video using the same fold. I'm just putting those away. But we're going to be using Evening Evergreen, and the other design in here, let me see about showing you. So you have this one and the copper polka dots, which I think go beautifully together. And then you have this one with the viney leaves and these lines. So what I decided is the one with the viney leaves and stuff is going to be in Evening Evergreen. I am going to be also using, I've already got, now you will have to fussy cut these. So I already got my pieces fussy cut for both of these cards. I just cut up a whole bunch of the designer elements, but I'm going to be doing these I Miss You. Both of these cards will be an I Miss You card. Very simple. That's all that's going in there. So let's get started. Make sure nothing is stuck on my whiteboard there. So let me show you what you're going to need. You're going to need a card base that's 5.5 by 8.5, and you want to score it right here at 4 1/4. You don't want to do anything yet because we're going to make some cuts in this. Okay, so this was my first sample using some cheap cardstock, but I didn't like that these little lines were only 1 inch thick, and that was very thin and flimsy, and I didn't like that. So you'll see the difference here to here, and I just think it's a better design. Still get that hidden bit. We're going to change this piece here using the double oval. Yes, the double oval punch. We're going to change that to Gorgeous Grape instead of that copper piece there with the copper polka dots. So you're going to need the card base. You're going to need 1 strip that is 1 by 5 1/4. You're going to cut 1. You're going to need 2 of these elements. Well, 1 of the center element with the flowers, 2 1/4 by 4. You're going to cut 1, and 1 1/4 by 4, and you're going to cut 2 of those. Now this is going to be the same cuts for our other card too, but I'm going to move my cutout flowers that I hand cut, all these elements off to the side because we are going to cut our cardstock. Now I'm going to use my trimmer here, and I am going to cut it this way. Take off my little tab. You can see, I even have ribbon for this card, but it's already done. So cut from the top here 1.5 inches, which is right here. Those are my directions. Cut 1.5 inches down to the score line on one side of your card base. So I'm going to stand up to do this so I can see better. So I have it at the 1.5 inch mark. Now, making sure it stays there. This is my 4 1/4 inch line, which is right here. So what I'm going to use as a guide, let me get my little hole pokey tool here, is there's this groove indentation right here on my trimmer blade, and I am simply going to line that up with the score mark or the 4 1/4 inch line, like so. Perfect. Now I'm going to turn this over this way, flip it upside down on itself to repeat said process one more time. So I'm simply going to get that right where I want it, bring it down. Like I said, there's these little score lines on each side of this, and you can either line it up with my your score line or the 4 1/4 inch mark, which is right there. And that is all there is to it. Now I'm going to show you this again when we do the green, the Evening Evergreen card. But let's do this one first. So you just now are going to crease these like they would have been folded if you were doing the card. Nice creases on there. Ta-da! It's not hard at all. You might think it is, but trust me, it really isn't. So I have my pieces. You're going to see how they line up right on the card. Real simple. So glue in hand. I'm going to open a new big bottle of Tombow. So just because I'm not doing any little gluing of any little pieces. So I'm going to start with my centerpiece. Oh yeah, lots of glue coming out there. I'm going to solve that by just sliding it around there. Putting it right there. Now one of my two pieces that are 4 1/4 by 4, I just think this, it's more substantial on the sides, and I like it much better. And of course, I call it the flip flap because there's all these, you got these 3 flaps going on. So that needs to go over just a wee bit more. There you go. So next comes in our strip that is 1 by 5 1/4. And this piece is going to pop this center flap open. And then this one is going to, and I knew this was going to be a little short because I didn't cut it correctly. So let's try again. Let me get my, it needs to be at 5 1/4, and it's just a tiny bit, maybe there. It's just off, just slightly, because you could make it go end to end, but I wanted it to end at the ends of my designer cardstock, I'm calling it, because it is very thick. So I'm looking at where I have it, and I'm coming up from the bottom of the designer cardstock about 3/4 of an inch or a 1/2 inch. You can use a grid. I am not going to be really persnickety about this. I'm just roughly eyeballing it and saying, okay, there looks good. Giving me a squiggle of glue. Oops. And I just want to make sure it's straight is all. Yep, it's a little slippery on this cardstock. You could use tear tape. So there we have that piece in play. And I'm going to look at it for a minute this way to make sure I like its placement. And I do. Yikes, a little too much glue coming out there. So next, I'm not putting, I am going to put my little piece here straight down, and I like that it's tone on tone. I'm just going to run a bead of glue, if it'll come out now. I knew that was going to come out so much. I don't want it. I just want it in the center. New bottles always are persnickety. Now this will, I like that it's tone on tone, like I was saying. Let's give that a second. And I need my piece of white cardstock to go underneath this. Let me get my flaps up. Here we go. And we're simply going to glue this in the center. So this piece is 4 by 5 1/4, kind of a standard matting layer for you to write on in your card. So there's one flap, here's the other. So we need the I miss you. Yikes, I didn't pull out any cardstock for that, but let's see what I have. Oh, I have a couple little strips here. Those will work. We're going to stamp I miss you on one of these. I'm not going to bother with the stamp and pierce mount. This should be relatively easy. Nice juicy pad. Let's see. Beautiful. Just beautiful. I'm going to close that ink pad up. I don't want anything getting on my card. And while I let that dry for a second, I'm going to give this a quick clean off because we're going to need it one more time. So we're using that double oval punch. Oh, love the punches. All of my new stuff from the new catalog all have punches, okay? I specifically bought them because they had punches. I will be purchasing a few sets that have dies, but give me a punch over a die any day. So now we're going to work on these elements. So I have, no, too big. I just cut up one whole sheet, and I know I will have to do, ooh, that little flower is going to be perfect. So I'm going to give this a little snip. Should be small enough. I'm going to add some glue. And this is how I'm decorating it. I am just lining my snipped edge up with the edge of the Gorgeous Grape. There's one. Let's see what else I have that I can put on the other side. I need something small. I don't want anything large. Ooh, that will do. This was an edge piece. And like I said, I kept them because I knew I could use them. So here's that. Now, where is it? I have off the clearance rack. I got this Gorgeous Grape ribbon. Yikes. If I can get it open is the trick here, right? And since we're using Gorgeous Grape, I mean, you have to love the clearance rack. It is such a good value. I mean, love it. I will use it even if it is retired. They have lots of actual DSP that's still in the catalog because it won't be going out. But I love this sheer ribbon. And I am going to add that right in the center. And I'm going to tell you how much you're going to need. We're going to add this with a glue dot. I just want plenty. I didn't cut this one yet. So each little square is an inch. So 2, 4, 6, about 6.5, 6.25 inches. I need my little glue dots. That will work. Usually I have some in this little tray, but I knew I didn't. So we're going to grab one of these. I love these big ones. I wish they actually sold them like this. I prefer them like this than on the roll. So I'm going to put one on this end of my ribbon. And I am going to center that like so. And it's going to just add that little bit of detail. And then I'm going to take another glue dot. I'll probably have to do a little trimming here on my ribbon. pull it nice and snug, add another glue dot on top of the last one. Pull it straight and snug. There we go. And where's my good? Now, I want to make sure I cover that up. So let's see, what do we have left? Oh, yes, this was the piece I was going to use. Look at that. So pretty. We have an extra leaf there that we can add. And, I know I had, yes, we might scoot this one up. So I'm just, like I said, I cut these out. Don't want it too much off the card. But I might put that one there. Oh, definitely. Maybe too much. Maybe this one. And the leaf. Yes, that's my elements there. So let's get to dimensionalizing all this stuff, because I definitely want these standing apart. So these two take a back seat for the moment. This 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1 on this one. Which, yes, this one is got a little cut right there, but you don't even notice it. If you do, you can simply cut that part if it bugs you off. And then it is less noticeable. But on this card with the back paper, it's just absolutely gorgeous. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, so we want this like so. This one then is going to come right here. Oh, definitely. So pretty. Oh, I want all of that on there. Maybe I'll just do that. But I should have cut that piece off. Let's see, what else do I have? I have these 3 leaves, which could... Sometimes you just gotta go with what you have. This is bugging me. That little bit of that leaf. Do I have a dimensional behind it? No. So I'm gonna actually cut it right here. Am I crazy? Yes, kind of sometimes. There. Now it's not bugging me. Now I can add this one there. So I'm going to add a bit of glue here, right where that's going to meet, and I'm going to add my dimensional on this side. There is a way to make it work. If there is a will, there is a way. So I'm simply adding that part of the flower there, and I want my leaf. Maybe I'll do the smaller of the leaves. So I'm going to cut these apart. Yikes, sorry. I'm going to cut that apart, and I'm just paper piecing elements into play here. I think we just need the one. I really do. So we're going to cut this one, and definitely like so. So this little piece here, this little stem gets some glue because it's so small. No little glue dot's going to hold that. And this one then is going to get a dimensional right there. I'm going to stick it actually right here on the actual card. And I need to do a little snipping of this to make it line up with the cardstock. There. So there is the front of my card, and you just get a little peekaboo of the ribbon. Now we're going to open it up. We need to do the I Miss You, which is going straight here. There's I Miss You. And we're not done. We have all these extra fun elements. Let's add them back in on the card itself, continuing that look. And it's just cutting up, you know, the elements on that gorgeous paper. So I have this one, which could go like so, but I don't like that. A full one. Is that all I have? I know I had a few more. I'm going to put this one up in the other corner. Just like so. And that is a gorgeous, gorgeous little card. I Miss You, flip, flap. Oh, so darling. And you could put gems on here. You could just embellish the heck out of it. But I think it really stands alone with all of its gorgeous elements of the actual cardstock that we cut. So that's card number 1. Like I said, we're going to repeat the same process. Let me put the lid on the glue, and I'm going to walk you through it one more time using Evening Evergreen. So I've already scored my cardstock right here. So I know it needs to go at 1.5, and we're coming down to the score line using this little edge here. We're going to flip it over and do it one more time. I don't want that to start before I get it where I want it. It's one very rainy day today in Western Washington. A great day to be in the craft room. So that's all there is for the cutting. Now we're going to fold these down. Give them a nice crease. And we're going to add our elements. Like I said, we already have our pieces. This is 2 1/4 by 4. These are 1 1/4 by 4. So 2 totally different looks, same layout, and actually same set of DSP papers. This is more of a cardstock than DSP, because it is very thick. Absolutely love this. But at the time that this came out, I wasn't crafting, so that's why I have it. Which is great. I get to show you how you can use some of your retired products. And if you don't have it, you have an opportunity, 1 of 3, to receive it. So you can do this project. So here we have my strip, which this one needs no trimming down. Great. So center flap up, and I'm putting that, this time we're going to do it about 1 inch up. So I'm bringing this down. I'm going to add my glue right about here. Right there. 2 lines. And now this will take a second to set. All right, so while that is setting, we're going to punch our top oval in Evening Evergreen and put a bead of glue down the center and put it in its spots. Beautiful. This one is going to come up, and we have our piece of white, basic white. Whatever white you have will work. This is 4 by 5 1/4. We're going to lay that down. Okay, So you can see it coming together. Now I did have an extra, yes. I have loaned my Evening Evergreen ink out. So all I have is black Memento, but that will work. Give it a second. I'm gonna go ahead and punch this out. Maybe this way. I wanted to get it more center. And we can glue this down. Just a little squiggle. I think this is beautiful. Simply stated, I miss you, for a friend, a loved one. Like I said, it could be an anniversary card. It is that pretty. So next I have a piece of Evening Evergreen ribbon, roughly 6.5 inches long, maybe a little longer, but we are going to do the same thing. I'm going to pop a glue dot on one end. No handy dandy Scotch tape today, as, ooh, let's just leave that. I want to get the pieces on there. I want this to be over part of my element. So these are viney pieces, and I need the end to be flat, but it's still going up on dimensionals, just a whole bunch of minis here, because I still want, I want that to be kind of, I think, we'll see. I'll have to look at it here for a second. Let's see, what do we have? That one and the very top. Okay, this is going behind it like the other one did. I just wanted to make sure. So I'm putting this in the center of my card. I'm gonna pull it nice and tight. Get another glue dot. There you go. I knock my punch over, pull it nice and tight over it, and trim that off. I do have a bow for this one. Oh, so pretty. So pretty. So this one's going to get a little dimensional, if I can figure out where they are. I have a few more little elements to put on here. So let's get all these little backings off. So grateful they came out with the minis. And I love that Stampin' Up! Gives you so many of them in paper pumpkins. 90% of my dimensionals you guys see me use are from my paper pumpkin. I do have several packages, but I always use my paper pumpkin ones up first. So there's the beginning of it. I want another one. Let's see. I might have to, ooh, stick. I'm not sure yet how this one, that one might be too big. We have pieces for this card. Let's see. That's all I cut. Okay. So we have this one. We might, I think it was going here. So we might have to trim that. Just trying to figure out how I can tuck that in without cutting too much. So let's snip some off the bottom. You will have to adjust it to your liking. I really wanted it higher up here because I think it needed it. Yeah, it's gonna need, let's just snip all that off, and then it will go just like so. Maybe I say it's just gonna go just like so, but there we go. It will work. Dimensionals for this one. So I don't want any down here because that's getting tucked behind. So I'm going to put one there, one here, and a third one on this petal, because the other ones are getting tucked behind the other, so they're going to get some wet glue. All right. There we go. Now it's in place. Gorgeous. And I have a wee little bow I am going to stick right here with, of course, a dimensional right there. Gives it that little added interest. And I think with these being vines, I love it being on the green. Any color green would more than likely work. Let me get that out of the way. So just a wee little bow I used on my bow maker. Didn't want it too big. I didn't want it overextending the flap. Ta-da! Now we get to figure out where these elements get to play in. And I think I want this one right, oh, just like that. So we're gonna give it a snip, and it's gonna go there. Yikes. Okay, next one is this one is gonna come in. Maybe I'll go, because they're all going the same way. Let's put them on the inside, the next pieces, and then I'll see what I'm left with to work with. So here is our open card. And I could do this and this one. Oh, definitely. Okay. Got it, got it, got it. This I could have used my little IV bottle for, but that's all right. So I'm simply putting this one at the bottom because it's curving that way. This one is going to come, you know what, up like that. And then the other one is what I'm going to be left with to use the front other side that I was lacking a little piece of. So this is right here. And so really there was no stamping. I just cut this paper up, and you can see we're missing something right here. And I'm just gonna go like so. I'm not gonna show an envelope because this would, for me, go into a clear envelope. I can get those out and show you because it's just too pretty not to show off, at least in my opinion. So I'm grabbing 2 clear envelopes. And you're gonna see just how pretty this is gonna look. And how do you send a card in a clear envelope? Well, I use, where's my little pad of paper here? I have a little pad of white scratch paper, and I throw a piece of paper in here. I put my name and the address of who I'm sending it to on the card. But isn't that gorgeous? So there you have it. This one's in its envelope. This one isn't. And I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you do and you want to make your own, like I said, I have 3 packages, well, 3 packages, 3 sets of these springtime florals. These measure 8 inches, so I will cut them to 4 just to put them in an envelope to mail. But I have 3 of those gifts for anyone who shares and comments on this video. I will draw those names. Let me get a calendar real quick to look at. Yikes. I do have one here. Let's see. Today of the filming of this video is the 12th. It will air tomorrow on, no, it will air on the 14th. So I will draw names on the 21st for these sets. So if you are interested, share my video, make a comment, and I will know that you're interested. I get notified. I'll write your name down, and I'll have the drawing on the 21st of January. And you will need to contact me within 24 hours of the drawing, as I have kept things for people over a year now that have never given me their address when they are like, oh, yeah, I won. And I'm like, I stopped doing it because it's like, do I get rid of it? What do? I can't give it to them because they have not contacted me. So you must contact me, and then if I call your name, you're going to need to email me your physical mailing address so I can send them to you. And I would love to do that at no cost. I hope you enjoyed this video and seeing what you can do with some really pretty retired products. You can use this fun fold. I call it the flip flap fold, using new products. And I am going to do that. So I will see you again in my Wonderland. Bye bye now.